How important is a sound hole in an acoustic guitar, and does diameter, location, or amplification matter? I'm David Harsh with Guitar Success for You. Today, I'm going to share with you an experiment I conducted related to guitar sound hole size and what a guitar might sound like without a sound hole. This experiment actually started as an illustration I made when I was volunteering as a vocal coach at our daughter's school's choir retreat. I talked to the students about how a resonance cavity, like my head, for example, won't be as beneficial if my mouth isn't open enough to let the sound out. I started off jokingly saying,
"It's harder to hear what I'm saying when my mouth is closed."
But seriously, if I sing like this, it sounds muffled and stifled. But if I sing like this, it's much fuller sounding, right? To help illustrate my point at this choir retreat, I brought up a guitar and I covered the sound hole with cardboard. And I played it both ways to demonstrate the difference. But then I thought, why not share this process here and go a bit deeper? So I did. I cut out 4 pieces of cardboard, I used a compass to measure 2 circles for 2 different sized sound holes, and I cut those holes out, affixing them to my guitar with painter's tape. My Taylor 810 Dreadnought acoustic, which I've been playing for about 25 years, has a sound hole with a diameter of 4 inches. So for setting 1, I have it unamplified and unaltered without doing anything to change the size of the sound hole. Using my compass at a 2-inch radius, I made a hole that was 4 inches in diameter in one piece of cardboard, and I painted that piece green as a visual marker for setting 1, the unaltered sound hole, sort of like a placebo control group. Setting 2 is also unamplified, but with a much smaller sound hole. Using my compass at 3/4 of an inch radius, I made a hole that was 1.5 inches in diameter. I painted this piece yellow for setting 2. Then for setting 3, I didn't change the cardboard at all. I wanted to completely cover the sound hole, so I painted that piece red. For setting 4, I planned to plug in my guitar with the sound hole covered. That piece of cardboard I painted purple to mark plugged in, and I glued a lightning bolt on it to indicate that electricity was a part of it. As a bonus, I will include an audio sample of me playing the guitar amplified with and without the sound hole covered. With those 5 settings, we should have enough options to hear some subtle contrasts. I'll take you through a short strummed and fingerpicked sample of each setting. For inquiring minds, my amplified signal chain is as follows. I go from a Highlander IP2 pickup and preamp in my guitar into a proprietary Highlander cable, into a Radial Passive Pro DI box, into a Proco Dynamic XLR cable, through a Mackie 1604 VLZ4 16-channel mixer, through another Proco Dynamic 1/4-inch cable into a Bose L1 personal amplification tower with 2 subs, and the room sound is captured by an overhead Sennheiser MKE 600 shotgun mic, which feeds through one more Proco Dynamic XLR cable via an adapter into the 1/8-inch port in a Sony ZV-E10 mirrorless 4K camera. Now, I've chosen to focus most of my study on music more than equipment, but I believe this setup includes enough gear to demonstrate the subtle contrasts. Okay, so I'll play each of these 4 settings, one right after the other with the same chords so you can hear the contrasts. Here we go with the strummed version. And here we go with the fingerpicked version. And here are the two juxtaposed amplified settings strummed. And here are the two juxtaposed amplified settings fingerpicked. So, what were my observations from this experiment? First, unless someone were to make an acoustic guitar with no sound hole, this experiment is not perfect. The solid piece of cardboard still allowed some sound to escape around and through it, and since the guitar is hollow, some of the internal sounds can be heard outside the instrument, much like sounds heard outside a house even when the doors and windows are closed. Second, sound hole size and location is important. A sound hole that's too small or covered up inhibits the sound from resonating well. Third, an amplified acoustic guitar doesn't really need a sound hole as much because the pickup does the heavy lifting. An unamplified acoustic guitar provides a resonance cavity for the sound waves to bounce around in. Without it, the sound would be very thin. If you've ever tried playing an electric guitar that's unplugged, you know you won't hear much sound because the strings don't have a resonance cavity to magnify their sound through. The pickup I have in this guitar is mounted under the bridge, so it gets most of its information from the top of the guitar as the wood resonates. Contrast this to a microphone placed in front of the sound hole that amplifies the instrument that way. There are acoustic electric guitars with narrower bodies that have some resonance, but to me, when it comes to playing unplugged, it's all about the woods and the construction of the instrument. A parlor guitar won't sound nearly as full as a dreadnought. Certain braces in certain models of guitars allow for better resonance through the woods. But there's a world of difference between an unplugged guitar and a guitar that's plugged in. As you probably know, the venue dictates the process. A living room with a dozen people listening doesn't necessarily need an amplified acoustic guitar. A grandstand absolutely does, right? I've played in both settings. I've got 3 more related thoughts for you. By the way, if you're a subscriber to our channel, thank you. If not, please do like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We appreciate your support. First thought, once in a while I'll come across a guitar that actually has the sound hole near or even on the side of the instrument, pouring sound directly up at me as I play it. I love this idea because I can indulge myself by playing music that I will hear the best. The downside is that I like to keep my Jim Dunlop pick holder in a very specific location on the side of the body for easy retrieval of picks, even mid-song. And depending on where that sound hole is located on the side of the body, it might not allow for that. Second thought, there exists a commercial product called a sound hole cover. The main purpose of this is to help control volume and feedback even during practice when the guitar is amplified. It can also keep dust out and regulate humidity in some regions. I have heard some guitarists perform with these. Last thought, it's all about your personal approach and preferences. I love my setup, which includes a supplemental AKG mic for the ring channel so I can sing into the sound hole, sending my signal through a rather complex configuration for my looping creativity, thereby allowing me to mix the pickup, the ring or the mic, and the loop channel, totaling 3 channels for one guitar, all mixed separately. But that's a conversation for another time. The shape of the guitar, the bracing, the sound hole, the woods, these are all unique features. These specific characteristics of a guitar are much like, wait for it, our human physiology, designed by our Creator. God's design of each person is unique, and that's why our voices can all sound distinctly different. How much our voices resonate has to do with our vocal technique and how we shape our mouths. As a matter of fact, when I asked a vocalist at the choir retreat what this part of the guitar is called, She guessed the mouth? It's kind of true. If this video was helpful, intriguing, or inspiring to you, please drop a comment. We've also recently unlocked the Super Thanks feature here on our YouTube channel, so if you want to support us that way and help us grow, please do. We're always working to come up with helpful content ideas that are in our wheelhouse, so more good stuff is coming, especially based on subscriber feedback. And if you're looking for 4 essential 4-chord progressions demonstrated on 7 unique instruments, this video just might be fascinating for you as well. I'll see you in the next one.